why are these top celebrities and powerful people that we see in the media and that around the world, why are they often displaying narcissistic and psychopathic traits? Are they always being selected for that?
Yeah. So there's a few things. There's self-selection, meaning if someone says, "Hey, you want to run the world?" You're like, "Yeah, if I got an ego, that sounds good." Believe me, I have an ego. If somebody gave me the keys to the kingdom, Keith, you want to give this a test? I'd do it in a second. Like I've got that big ego. I hopefully wouldn't be evil, but I would love to drive the car. So you need an ego. The other thing you need is you need to be able to be good at rising in leadership. And the traits that make good people good at rising at leadership are social confidence and assertiveness. And that's one half of narcissism. The other trait that really comes out in the research on political leaders is manipulativeness. You need to be able to manipulate. That's politics. Politics is
Yeah.
literally just, it's the art of the deal. It's the art of manipulating people to do this, and they're manipulate. It's like the big dance. You got to be good at that, which takes a certain kind of people. The third ingredient, and this is where it gets a little bit dicier, is people have to let you into power. And a lot of times, what it seems to me is they don't let you in unless you're corrupt. Because if
Mm.
you're not corrupt, you're going to upset the apple cart for everybody else. So in the United States, we have an odd phenomenon where people go into public service and they've got $500,000, and then pretty soon they've got a net worth of $20 million, and no one really knows exactly how that happens. And part of what they're doing is insider stock trading, which is legal in the US. Huh. So, yeah, figure that one out. So, what happens is there's a selection for corruptibility in politics. I look at the European leaders and I can't imagine a more disgusting, corrupt, just, there's not, no offense to your content, because you can say the same about ours. I can't see one person I respect in any position of leadership in Europe. And I can think of maybe two exceptions, but I won't say them because it will upset half your audience. Maybe one, maybe two. Horrible people, just the worst, disgusting, corrupt, dumb. And so, how do people like that get in power? I don't
Yeah.
know. And then you always go, how come people get in power and they don't do the good thing? And you just can't because the system. It's
Mm.
just the nature of systems. You could say the same about academia too.
Is that a expression of human nature if it's the system of the world almost?
So humans are built to have dominance hierarchies and reverse dominance hierarchies. So we have a system where people can rise up and build and control a big dominant system. But when people do that, there's a natural system of humans trying to cut that person down. You see this in like Scandinavia, I think they call it the law of Junta or something. I forget the name, the law of something. In Australia, they talk about tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
I think in the UK a little, they'll talk tall poppy.
Yeah.
But that's a reverse dominance hierarchy. You don't want anybody being too arrogant or put themselves above each other. So I think, and this is my argument, this is based on a gentleman, an anthropologist named Christopher Boehm, who wrote a great book, Hierarchy in the Rainforest. So I'm not making this up myself. But I think humans are we're not a super dominant creature like great apes or chimpanzees. We're a little more balanced. It can get out of hand where one person gets power and then puts a ring around him to guard him, and he can generate a lot of power in an empire, but they don't last a long time. They get taken out. That's just, you see this cycle of power in the world. And if you look at traditional hunter-gatherer societies, there's often much more egalitarian social structures.
Mm.
Everybody's pretty similar. Maybe there's a headman, maybe there's a shaman. Other than that, they're pretty egalitarian, a little more knights of the round table, a little more like the old England before the change. So I think we have this natural tension in our system, but in a modern world where you can accrue power, and then look at the game. It's how do you accrue power and keep power? And that's the game everybody's playing around the world in democracies or whatever we call it, republics. I don't know what you guys call yourself. It's a harder game to stay in power. So they're trying to rig the systems so they'll get in power. They'll do things to rig the system so they don't ever lose power. Or power is trading between two people who are really the same people behind it. You go to Russia, you go to China, Turkey, they solve the power problem by just becoming, I don't know what the right word would be, more autocratic systems.
Yeah.
El Salvador is going that way now. They just changed the re-election laws. And I just watched the president give a speech about urinating in public, and we're going to become more Singapore. So you're seeing a lot of those more authoritarian leaders emerging right now as the world destabilizes. And unfortunately, they're probably going to do better than the Democratic leaders because they'll just keep like in the US, people will just keep fighting each other, and then they're going to do to us what they're going to do to us.
1930s round two then?
I hope not. It sure feels that way. I say about 1/10 of what I think. That's my plan. But my sense is we've been in the cold World War III for a while now. And it's a lot of this is, I don't know if it'd be fifth generation, a lot of psychological warfare has been going on last 5, 10 years. And it's very hard for normal people to see psychological warfare. I only notice it because I know what our limits are for ethical stuff, and I know when it's broken. So I think we're in a very strange psychological climate, and a lot of what's war now doesn't feel like kinetic war used to in World War II, except what's going on in the front right now to the east of you, probably. 1,000 miles, 700 miles? How far are you guys?
The Ukraine?
Yeah.
More than that. Quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a few thousand.
Okay. That is an old school World War I hell. That is hell. That is a hot war. And the rest of us are still in a war. It's just a psychological war. And yeah.
Do you have any examples of the psychological mechanisms that they're using?
Oh, it's propaganda. That's what a lot of the war boils down to, is just propaganda. And they're using bots and they're using social media to shape narratives. And they've been doing this. And the problem is all the countries are doing it now. The first talk I had with somebody at DARPA is our Defense Advanced Research Program in the US. So these guys are running 25 years out in terms of their science. The first call I had with DARPA was after the Arab Spring, when they talked about weaponizing social media. I forget the date of that, but it's been going on since then. So in the Arab Spring, they figured out social media is a weapon. It's basically it's a weapon. It's being weaponized by all these different people. I don't understand why. I don't have any clearance. And when people tell you they know the truth, they don't, because when you ask people who really know what's going on, if they tell you they go to jail, like a bad federal prison for a long time. So no one will tell you anything who knows anything. So when people tell you stuff, that's usually not true. So it's very hard to know anything.